Well, how about that? Was exciting. Another dominant Bears preseason victory. I don't know how much the score really ever matters. I don't like to talk about preseason scores, but that's 2 straight big wins over good AFC opponents that the Bears have put together the last couple weeks. A lot of exciting things to talk about. Welcome in. This is the CHGO Bears postgame show. And CHGO Bears preseason coverage is presented by Ray Chevrolet. Shop the new car clearance event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive into the end zone, just like Caleb Williams did.
Oh, my goodness.
Exciting times. Adam Hoge, Greg Braggs Jr. with you on the postgame. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, this is just an unbelievable experience we're all having here these last few weeks. As we build our way to week 1, I'm going to do everything I can to contain myself today and not just completely lose my mind, but we all know that will happen. So I guess we'll start with the leveled approach from one Adam Hoge. What do you got here for your instant reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to stay leveled, but how can you not be excited about what you're seeing?
It's literally impossible.
And especially it's because if you factor in the training camp practices into this too, it's been linear. It went from choppy early on to pretty damn consistent on a day-to-day basis, getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And honestly, what I love about today was that it didn't start that well. You had 3 straight 3-and-outs. And you had a coaching staff who gets shouted out by the general manager on the TV broadcast in the middle of the game because they adapted. And they said, 9 snaps. I don't care if it's, late first quarter going into the second quarter. We got to get them out there again. We got to get these ones out there. And They listened to what we talked about pregame. DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, they don't have to be a part of that. I would have been fine if they didn't play at all today. But they play a little bit. They end up coming out. Smart decision. But you leave Caleb in there. You leave the offensive line in there. You leave Rome Odunze out there to be a true number 1 wide receiver in that moment. And they deliver. The pocket awareness, the instincts you cannot teach are everywhere for Caleb Williams. You see it. He scrambles. He spins, just feeling the rush, and his eyes are downfield. Even on the touchdown run, the throw to Rome, we can talk about in a second, but the touchdown run, his eyes are downfield. It's not until the last second when he realized he's got Tevin in front of him to basically lead him right into the end zone on an easy touchdown run that he finally tucks it and goes. And that's interesting to me. I want to hear those guys talk about that play because you have an offensive lineman there that can't go downfield if he's going to throw the ball. So I don't know if he's communicating. I don't know if he's yelling, Tevin, go, go, go. I'd love to hear that communication because they seem to be on the same page there at the right moment, and they just pounded it in for the rushing touchdown. There's so many little football nuances that it's okay to be excited about with Caleb Williams today. I do not care that it's a preseason game. I do not care that the Bengals didn't have their starters in there. That's not the one-on-one matchups aren't what we're talking about here. We're talking about the stuff you cannot teach. That's what's so exciting. That's what jumps off the tape already from today's game. And to experience some adversity early on, for the coaching staff to put them back out there, and then to rally the troops without DJ Moore and Keenan Allen out there, complete that absolute dime to Rome Odunze. And by the way, give 15 his props too, because those late hands we've been talking about, going back to his tape at Washington, on display there. Last second, throws up the hands. DB can't react in time, makes a tough catch. There's so much to love about those plays in this game. Greg, I give you full permission, just like Caleb Williams did earlier this week, to freak out and be excited.
Yeah, seriously. We're all in here. As you mentioned, his best play to me was a play that didn't even count. On the pregame show, I said I wanted 3 touchdowns on 2 drives. He had 2 touchdowns on his final drive. I mean, and both of them were batshit crazy plays. The poise, the manipulation of the flow of the defenders coming at him on the Rome Odunze, where he shrugs in, pops back out outside, laser to the corner. Rome Odunze doesn't stay in pounds, but I promise you they'll get that figured out. Just like they did last week where they just missed on a corner end zone throw. They'll get there. 2 rookies in there, right? You talk about rolling out of the pocket. We said this last week on the postgame show after Caleb had his little scramble up the middle where he slid. And no, he's not like Justin Fields he's going to break the all-time rushing single season record. But when you're the type of quarterback that can be such a threat with your arm and throw to any of his targets out there, now you've got the defense on your heels and you can be just as an effective runner even if you don't have that top tier athleticism that Justin Fields definitely had within him. Caleb Williams certainly isn't no slouch either in terms of athleticism. So you're seeing all that on full display. Obviously, I'm going to just gush about Caleb Williams for an hour and a half here, but really for me, my biggest reaction to this show is shout out to Matt Eberflus, who I have been hard on a lot here on these shows, on our post-game shows last year. I had a lot of questions how he was going to approach training camp this year, preseason this year. Quality reps, man. That's what I continue to preach. They are important. Caleb said they were important coming into preseason games, and Matt Eberflus has delivered. He talked about his 45 to 55 snaps, citing what C.J. Stroud did last year. Be a great year to have if he could match what C.J. Stroud did last year. Well, guess what? You're putting him on the proper path of development because, yes, they did struggle out the gate, 3 and outs. There was a couple times, if you go back and watch the All-22 eventually, where, on the first third down throw, he throws it just short of the sticks, but Rome Odunze, to my eyes, was open on the left side for a first down. He didn't see it. He rushed it. On the slant route that DJ Moore had the pass breakup on, Rome Odunze, once again, if you look, is up on the top of the screen, beating his man one-on-one at the top. If he had looked at him, he'd have got probably a deep ball touchdown. But again, he rushed it a little bit. So everything was a little off to start. Keeping them in there, getting into the second quarter, I think they're only going to get one series. All of a sudden, they're playing an entire half. And look at how it ends. Look at the confidence that they can finish with and go into next Thursday. The offensive line continuity to come together. Those things are so important to be ready to play football. They started the season 0-4 last year. And there's so much expectation to head into this season, regardless of the fact that there's a rookie quarterback, under center. These guys are ready to play football. This defense is ready to play football. Kyler Gordon, Montez Sweat, hello. They're ready to play football tomorrow. So the offense is going to have a long road of continued development. They've got a ton of talent, but this team can win some games this year, and this team, starting out the gate, has a chance to really build some momentum heading into the middle point of this season.
If you're just joining us here, and we love that you're here, might be for the first time, we do the show every single game. When we get to the regular season, there's going to be 4 of us here. Corey Wooten will be here for every game. We did find Mark Carman finally. We will show that to you later on in the show as he's been missing, and we found him in the middle of the game. But please hit that subscribe button. We're on a push right now for 60,000 subscribers. Yes. My goal was to get there by week 1. You guys have been so awesome during the preseason here that I think we're going to blow by that well before we get to week 1.
Oh, no, I'm not leaving today until we get it.
I don't know if we're going to get it today, but
today.
We'll challenge you. Maybe you can help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button right now. Helps grow the show here and expand it. Yes, Steven.
And we have over 2,100 watching already. We're 9 minutes in.
Let's go. I love it. Please hit that. But we should have way more than 249 likes if that's the case. So please hit that like button right now. Maybe we can jack that over 1,000 before we're out of here tonight as well. Let's take a look at Caleb Williams' numbers in this game. I find it very interesting. You brought up the snap counts. 20 snaps in Buffalo. I believe our guy Steven here has him at 22 for today. We'll get the official verification on that in the morning when the NFL releases their snap counts, but Steven was paying attention to that. So regardless, we're inching up to that 45 already.
Yep.
6 of 13, 75 passing yards, 7 rush yards, of course, on that rushing TD. And, this is one of those games where, we show you the numbers. We're always going to do that after the game. But, this is a trust your eyes game. Because the funny thing about passer rating is Logan Blindside, shout out to our guy Brad Spielberger for tweeting that in the middle of the game. His passer rating actually ended up being better than Caleb Williams in this football game. I think anybody who can watch football understands there's a big, giant difference there between the two quarterbacks. So I don't know how much the overall numbers really matter. Also, I would have loved to see, I thought one of the better throws of the game was the deep throw to Tyler Scott. And I bet the coaching staff feels the same as me. I hate that Bengals player got in there and committed pass interference because I wanted to see Tyler Scott pull that in. Mm-hmm. That's something he needs to prove that he can do downfield.
Yep.
And he didn't get that opportunity in that moment because of the DPI. But I thought it was still a really good ball from Caleb Williams in that moment.
Yeah, no question. And he had to make an adjustment on the ball. I think one of the biggest criticisms we have for Tyler Scott or Velus Jones is staying on your feet when you're making a deep ball catch like that. And it's not easy tracking the ball, staying on your feet, hands, touchdown. You saw Tyler Scott make a play like that in training camp. So, yeah, he gets horse collared down, doesn't have an opportunity to prove himself in that regard. But, that's why those kind of guys are still going to find a way on the roster because you need those speed slot guys to stretch the defense and take pressure or eyes off of DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, who are going to get separation in different ways and find, soft spots in the zone. So, it's just, to me, again, another day. It's not perfect, there's like I said, there was I thought misreads to start. There was some missed blocks to start. Nate Davis at one point got blown up where, got stuffed on I think it was a run, or Caleb might have got stuffed there, on the screen pass they tried to run.
Well, there's 3 straight plays there where you had Tevin Jenkins commit a false start.
Right.
Nate Davis gave up a sack, and then Coleman Shelton missed the block on the screen to Kari Blasingame.
Exactly.
We're running fullback screens, by the way. And so those were 3 straight plays that the interior O-line wants to have back. But
that's why they got to get these reps.
Yeah.
But overall, 100%. If you look at Caleb, to your point about the numbers being deceiving, the quarterback rating being deceiving, he had his first pass, his first rep, it was an overthrow. And there could have been a few misreads. Let's wait for the all-22, and people that are, smarter than me breaking down the film will tell you otherwise. But overall, the DJ Moore on the slant, that was a good ball. It was just better defense. The Rome Odunze incomplete pass in the back of the end zone, that was a touchdown. So there, and the Tyler Scott deep ball that doesn't count because of the flag, again, a good read and a good ball placement, So to me, Caleb Williams, once again, back-to-back weeks, showing just unbelievable improvement, steady in the pocket. The one where he stepped up, eluded the pass rusher, stepped up in the pocket, and he missed Gerald Everett. I think he might have got tripped on the turf. He didn't reset his feet, but he kind of tripped too. So that was like another moment there where it wasn't perfect, but if you just looked at the pocket poise there,
but he's got to reset his feet there and deliver a strike. That was definitely one.
There was an argument that the turf monster got him. So I have to
the Caleb monster got himself there, I think. Yeah. He's got to learn to reset his feet there and deliver a strike. Hey, real quick before we go into a break, I want to kind of make a habit of doing this, Steven, in our post-game shows. What's our top super chat right now that's come in terms of dollar amount? Let's feature that right off the bat here. Let's get that in.
We got a 20 here from Javen Terry.
Yeah, Javen Terry. Shout out to you, Taven. Javen, excuse me. $20 says 3 things. 1, we have a deep top 5 defense. 2, credit our coaching staff for going outside of their plan and adapting. Completely agree with that one. 3, Caleb is a QB you win because of. Bagent, a QB you can win with. The Bears. Yeah, we're going to talk about Bagent here too because he had a really nice game.
And overall, I want to talk about the depth on this team.
That's certainly fair. We're going to get to our best and worst from this game coming up next. But first, you hear us talking about Ray all the time. Ray CDJR. You can shop summertime savings going on right now at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and save on the perfect new vehicle for you. This August, score new lower prices across their huge inventory during the Make This the Summer event. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 36 months on most of their new 2024 Jeep models, or you could shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing now are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, no hidden fees. Since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray CDJR today. Shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
That's right. And no shortage of energy here today in the studio and all across Chicago, once again with our Chicago Bears, and that's why we're always dialed up with some C4 energy. Elevate your performance with energy that hits. C4 Performance Energy powers explosive energy with 200 milligrams of caffeine and provides enhanced endurance with carnosine and beta-alanine. So made with clinically studied ingredients, 0 grams of sugar or artificial colors, and carrying the NSF certified for sport label, C4 Performance Energy is the athlete's choice for elevating performance. C4 Performance Energy fights muscular fatigue and powers enhanced muscular endurance with energy you can feel. C4 Performance Energy is available in a wide variety of amazing sugar-free flavors, including delicious collaborations like grape popsicle, strawberry starburst, and orange creamsicle. So make sure you're hitting up C4 Energy and get your energy up with them today.
Love seeing those likes. 644. Keep those coming. Let's go over 1,000 here. Greatly appreciate that. Best and worst.
Yes, sir.
From this game. I'm going to flip over to the defensive side right away because, yes, everybody's excited about Caleb, but I'm not sure there's anyone who played better today than Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon was all over that field from start to finish, coming back to practice just a few days ago, and to see him go from a couple days of practice to right back on the field and look as dominant as he did was very, very exciting. Absolutely ran over Logan Woodside on that sack that he had. No idea he was coming, and just it delivered a nice clean hit, got that helmet down, hit him hard. Loved everything about it. He was all over the field. So Kyler Gordon was my best of the day. The worst. You know, it's really exciting when you have a rookie who is showing you so many good things, but is also showing you still some rookie moments that, you know, are going to be really easy to correct. And one of the easiest things Rome Odunze will be able to correct is knowing where the end line is in the back of the end zone. But, man, you're in the NFL now.
Right.
When your quarterback delivers a throw like Caleb Williams did on that play, the way he extended the play, the way he found you, zipped it while doing his little jump man throw again, and it was an absolute strike. Roll, man, you got to get your feet in bounds there. You can't be 6 inches out the back of the end zone. There was really only like 2, but he was clearly out of bounds. Got to be able to stay inside. And that, honestly, even if it's not that, you as a wide receiver, you're running the back of the end zone. You can't ever step out, or you're ineligible to touch the ball.
Right.
So that's just something you have to have that awareness. You have to learn. So that was my worst because you got to be in bounds there, and also just kind of ruined what you still called like your favorite play of the day, even though it didn't count.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, so my best, I got to go with the depth of this team, man. It was on full display today. As impressive as the defense was as a whole at times, and as impressive as Caleb Williams was to finish his run that he had, overall, credit to Ryan Poles for building this roster over the last 3 years, and credit to Matt Eberflus for developing guys on this team. You see Terrell Smith with the interception. You see Josh Blackwell making plays. Josh Blackwell's been here a few years now. Him and Jalen Jones were getting scrappy when there was nothing on this defense a couple of years ago while the Bears were in full tank mode. Now here he is still making plays on this defense. That DB room's getting loaded. Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, forget my guy Reddy Stewart, who started the camp with some first team reps. But still, it just speaks to how much depth they have in that room. I mean, the linebackers are deep. Daniel Hardy, spin cycle. Then he gets a strip sack. That's just on the defensive end. Then you get over to the offensive end. You saw last week Matt Pryor come in as a third string right guard and played pretty well. By the way, look at your quarterback room. Hello, Chicago. You got 2 quarterbacks out there throwing dots today. 2 touchdowns from Tyson Bagent. Developing quarterbacks? What are we doing? What world do I live in right now? And so just overall, Ryan Poles has built this thing brick by brick from the foundation up. He's talked about that so many times. And Matt Eberflus is starting to deserve some flowers here. He's got to finish the job once we get to the regular season and execute this vision that looks really nice right now. But Matt Eberflus also deserves a lot of credit for developing the players that you're seeing the depth with. So just shout out to both of those guys. My worst is that somehow I have to figure out how to contain myself until week 1. We are 22 days away, and I am going to lose my mind. I told myself, don't do what you did last year and completely freak out at this point and write checks that then the team has to cash. We all know how it turned out last year. A lot of us were wrong how we thought the year was going to go. But man, oh man, it feels right. Doesn't it, Hoge? It feels right. And we've been through so much pain and suffering. We've seen so many different failures that at least we've become an expert on what doesn't look right. We have no idea what is supposed to be good.
I want to defend us a little bit, though.
You can't defend me. I'm indefensible. I'm a complete idiot.
I don't think anybody here was that far off on last season. The only thing we didn't foresee is how bad it started.
Right.
But we were all sort of in that 7 to 10 win range.
I know.
And there's really in the NFL not a huge difference between 7 and 10 wins. Everybody last year knew it was just supposed to be a step in the right direction. Could it have been better? Yes. But it was still a step in the right direction.
Right.
You could see it building. So I don't think anybody got out over their skis. And honestly, I don't think anybody's doing that right now either. I mean, until you come out a week from now and make your 15-2 prediction,
right. Well, and
that'll be the point where you do that.
And that's what I was going to get to. Like when we did the schedule release, that's always just kind of a fun exercise to go through the win-loss prediction. I think I said 12. But I, always preface that with like, let's get to the actual predictions we put down right before the season starts. And so while we were at camp, I've settled at 10. But now it's just like I continue to beat the drum on Bears Twitter that people that want to emotionally hedge and say, no, next year's when they're going to be good. I'm like, no, this is a win now team. And I'm not seeing any evidence to the contrary. So when we actually go back through this exercise of going through the schedule, it's going to be really hard for me to keep them at 10 wins and not go over that just because I look at how deep this team is, the talent, the front end talent they now have. You're seeing Ryan Poles still he offered a 3rd-round pick for Matthew Judon a few days ago. So I know Ryan Poles is looking win now mode. My worst is that I have to figure out how to control myself. And I have no self-control, Steven. This is a problem.
Yeah, I'm actually – it's a problem for you, no doubt about it, but it's a good problem to have and something that we're not really used to seeing.
I don't know if it's a good problem.
It's a good problem.
This guy can't control himself when the Bears suck.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when they have a quarterback?
I will be so obnoxious.
Well, it's happening. They have a quarterback.
You have no idea how high I can fly.
Well, my best today was, and I know we already talked about it a little bit, but Flus giving Caleb that one more drive where we kind of all thought that was it for him because it allowed him to show the maneuverability that I need to see that is the reason he gets these Patrick Mahomes comps. And I said it right when he was scrambling on that 7-yard rush TD. I said, that's Mahomes. That is what I saw right there. He stays in the pocket. He maneuvers around it. And then when he can't find the pass, that's when he scrambles and goes for the end zone. I loved seeing that. It is exactly what I want to see as a Bears fan.
Well, you say it's like reminds you of Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill is tweeting out. I don't know if you have that graphic, but we can pull it up later. Tyreek Hill goes, this Caleb Williams guy, so nice. He reminds me of ... I mean, like.
And it's one thing coming from me. I'm just a producer over here. But this is the guy that used to catch balls from Patrick Mahomes. And he's saying, yeah, he looks just like Patrick. Or ... Whatever.
What if he comes back a couple hours later and says Chad Henne?
Well, Ryan Poles said it at the Combine.
Yeah.
There's similarities there in terms of him and Mahomes and Caleb. Mm-hmm. He was in the room when they decided to draft, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. So he definitely has, feet to stand on in that take. Now Tyreek Hill, who caught balls and won Super Bowls from Patrick Mahomes. So when those comparisons were being made in the offseason and people thought that was slanderous, well, guess what? Some of the, Tyreek Hill is the number one player in the league, according to Top 100 NFL. He's saying he's reminding me of someone.
What about your worst?
My worst was, this is going to sound really weird. My worst was the Bengals offense because it prevented us from seeing kick returns. We saw one kick return today. It was from Velus Jones Jr. I need to see more. I need to see. That's one of the few positions where I could look at on this team and say, I don't know what they're doing there yet. And we did not get an answer or even close to it today. So for me, the Bengals offense not being able to score ended up hurting the Bears in a really weird way because I didn't learn anything about kick returns today.
That's fair. Yeah, there would have only been 2. What happened on the second one? I can't even remember off the top of my head. Because the Bears took the opening kick, so that was 1, and then they had a field goal, so that would have been 2. Right?
Was it maybe down in the end zone?
I don't know.
Well, on the first
kick return for 18 yards.
Right, on the first kick return, there was a penalty on a hold, but I liked the way they set it up, and Velus kind of came across and then tried to find that hole,
that's what it was. The field goal came at the end of the first half, so there was no kick return.
Right.
That was at the
so
buzzer.
On the one, I did think they set it up nicely, but there was a hold on it. But overall, it looked right. He almost broke it.
Well, and they had one a couple weeks ago that was very close too. All right, what's our biggest super chat now before we go into?
We got let's do this $20 one from Jackie Umfrey.
All right, we got Jackie here, $20. Thanks, Hoge and Braggs, for pre and post. Great game. Excited for the regular season. Way different than past years. I know he's not the focus, but my hometown QB2 did great. Thanks again, CHGO. Let's effing go.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson Bagent has had some ups and downs to start camp. And now, today, there's no question. He's your QB2. And, just like last year where he came in and went 2-2, won you a couple regular season NFL football games coming from where he came from. He had, if God forbid he does have to come in for whatever reason, like there's a lot of confidence there. I mean, you were the one that called it, on his touchdown, over the top to Dante Pettis.
Yeah, he signaled. I saw it pre-snap. He went like this, and then I saw Dante go like this, which usually means I have to see the whole play. But based on what I saw on the TV copy, I think they saw single high, which meant man on the slot there.
Yep.
And they saw that, and he just ran perfect. And Bagent was going to go there no matter what.
It was a dot.
That was, I'm going to you. Here's the car. And I love, for the second team offense to be that in sync in that moment for a touchdown. And that wasn't that was a deep touchdown too. That's a second-year quarterback really starting to understand things. And I think that good for Tyson, because there were some shaky moments early on in camp, I thought, and he has righted that. And I've said all offseason, love him as a backup, and I think the Bears are in good shape there with their quarterback depth.
Yes, sir.
All right, our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer, just like the quarterback did today. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. You can stop in the nearest store nearest you, and you can get expert guidance from their staff. You have questions, they're there to help you, and you can select from quality lines like Cresco or Florical. And this is one you might want to think about, because here for the summer is Good News' Tea Time Disposable Vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor that's perfect for the course, because we all need a little help staying loose on the green. And if you want to head to Sunnyside, you can go pick that up right now. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
That's right. I want to give a quick shout out here to our guys over at Mint Mobile, as Adam Hoge gets mobile here on the set. He's doing a carm. But yes, Mint Mobile. I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals when I'm just to save a few bucks. Well, I might for Caleb Williams, but it has to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process was the time I spent on hold waiting to break up with my old provider. It's just easy to switch, easy to get on their website, and it's an easy purchase all day long. So to get started, go to mintmobile.com/CHGO, and then you'll see that right now all 3-month plans are only $15 a month. That's half of how much I'll spend at Taco Bell here tonight, including the unlimited plans they have in place. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/CHGO. That's mintmobile.com/CHGO. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/CHGO.
Love seeing how many people are watching us live right now. Greatly appreciate it. You might be watching this later, listening to the podcast. We appreciate that too. Please hit that subscribe button. Please rate and review the pod wherever you listen to it. And let's get those likes up too. We're inching towards 1,000, and we can go over the top. Come do that right now. Also want to encourage you to check out our other brand new YouTube channel, which you should be subscribing to. The 85 with Cole Kmet. We had our first episode last week. Cole breaking down Caleb Williams' performance. Cannot wait to hear what he has to say this week about this stuff that we're talking about right now. Cole, we're going to be recording that tomorrow, and I believe it's going to be coming out Monday. So we're going to get the fresh reaction from Cole Kmet this week on the 85. So make sure you go check it out. That's a separate feed, separate YouTube channel. Don't leave us here, but, open up a separate browser or something. Go hit subscribe.
We're all in the same family here. Come on now.
That's right. And also podcast feed as well. Make sure you follow the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. So go check that out too. All right, let's give out some game balls.
I wonder where my ball is going.
Yeah. Well, this is the segment where we highlight some other players. Greg, to take you behind the scenes here. When Caleb was pulled from this game, Braggs was pulled from this game.
I was.
He was in his phone celebrating on social media the rest of the game.
Oh man, it's just so beautiful. All the different, people talking about it. It's just, I want to share in this shock and awe that we're all in. I just can't believe it. I said I can't believe it probably 100 times today.
You really did. And that was before halftime.
I can't believe it.
I don't even think you realized you were doing it because you were just like kind of mumbling to yourself. I can't believe it.
I cannot believe it.
Well,
we deserve this.
I would like to give a game ball similar to what Steven just mentioned before the break to head coach Matt Eberflus. And we know this is the case because the GM came on later, and I think we have that quote to share with you too, because he came on the television broadcast and said that, and here's a quote from Ryan Poles: "I'm proud of our coaches for sticking with that first group for longer than was planned. So they made an in-game adjustment and said,
what's in his mouth?
Probably some gum.
Piece of gum.
Oh, he's a big gum guy. I'm a big gum guy too.
Then how come you didn't realize that was gum?
I
bet you Ryan Poles doesn't swallow his gum.
I threw you off your spot. I'm sorry.
I guarantee you Ryan Poles does not swallow his gum.
That was a carm. I did a carm there.
Now you're trying to avoid that. Okay. But
I do swallow
in all seriousness, you're trying to accomplish some things here in the preseason. And that move to keep Caleb Williams and most of the first team still in there, while also acknowledging that you didn't have to keep DJ Moore and Keenan Allen in there. I love that. I love that. So game ball to Matt Eberflus, it paid off because you got the positivity, the rewards that you wanted to get out of this game today, and everybody stayed healthy at the same time. Also want to give a game ball to Dante Pettis because Pettis had a good week of practice too. Like he was popping out there. He had a good day against the Bengals in practice the other day. And he took that to the game. So strong week for Dante Pettis. Now the only thing is I really feel like his road to securing a roster spot is doing a good job as a punt returner too. And I didn't love how he ran backwards on his punt return and lost yardage. So I don't know and he had that drop, was it 2 weeks ago or one of the 2 weeks he had a drop on the punt return too. Yeah. So you don't want to see that either. However, from an offensive standpoint, looked really, really good today. Looked really good all week. So also a game ball to Dante Pettis.
Yep, that's a good one. My game ball is going to go to Rome Odunze. Yes, he didn't get his feet in bounds, kind of lost where he was in the corner of the end zone when Caleb Williams pulled just an unbelievable play. And they'll make that adjustment because, you know what? Who would have thought Caleb would have figured out how to make that play in the corner of the end zone? But he did. And Rome's going to be ready for it next time, I have no doubt. But at the end of the day, he did get to the right spot where he needed to go. Now, just make sure your feet are where they need to be, and we're good. Outside of that, he had the end around where, man, he really shows that burst on that play. I know he gets past the linebacker on it, but, like, his speed is very deceiving because he's so big that it doesn't look as fast as, like, a Tyler Scott, right? So it's a deceiving type of speed combined with his size. And I'm also combining his overall last few days because at the joint practice, he had the slant route that he caught that he probably would have turned upfield for a touchdown. And from all the different reports, sound like a very competitive practice. Now you take DJ Moore and Keenan Allen off and let him be the wide receiver 1 today. He makes the throw over the top. Caleb Williams doing just this unbelievable jump man out of the pocket that is going to become his signature play. But watch Rome Odunze in the way that he tracks that football. And he, that was his moment, his first moment to show Bears fans, on the television stage, just how well he is at coming down with those kind of balls, the 50-50 balls, and having the kind of hands that made him the reason that he was a top 10 pick. Any other time, a guy like Rome Odunze would come to the Chicago Bears and be their number 1 wide receiver out the gate. He's not. He's their 3rd guy behind 2 very good guys ahead of him. Any other time, a wide receiver taken in the top 10 by the Chicago Bears would have all the attention on him. Well, he's not, because Caleb Williams was drafted number 1 by this team. And this is just speaks to this environment that's conducive to healthy development of the players across the board. And Rome Odunze is going to thrive from that environment that Chicago has created for him, that Ryan Poles has created for him. And I'm so excited to see this guy's trajectory on this team with this quarterback.
I got a couple more too. Daniel Hardy had a holding penalty on the opening kick return, which was not good. The rest of his game was outstanding. Had a sack. He had 2 quarterback hits. He had 2 tackles for loss, and he also added a tackle on special teams as well. Interesting to see Daniel Hardy, by the way, on kick return to start the game. Sort of a bigger body, something that we're kind of watching too in terms of personnel. But he had a really good game. And also Josh Blackwell. We actually got confused when Josh Blackwell came in and made that really nice when he batted the ball up in the air, which led to the interception, right? Yep. We just figured that was still Kyler.
Yeah.
Because Kyler was just coming out of that slot position and over and over and over again. and all of a sudden, here it comes again. But no, this time he's wearing 39. And that was Josh Blackwell, which, again, goes back to what you were talking about earlier. The depth they have.
And Eberflus is just like, send the hounds. Yeah. Like, blitz all day. It's like, remember the Titans. Like, Jesus, like, show some mercy, Matt Eberflus.
Well, we got a little peek of that on Hard Knocks last week where we saw Eberflus versus the Bills. Fourth quarter, he's yelling, takeaways, takeaways, takeaways. So he's still trying to, like, show something.
And we've seen this at camp, these blitzes by DBs coming off the edge. And Kyler's been out a little bit, so it has been Josh Blackwell at times coming off the edge. But here was both of them today. I mean, holy moly, that hit by Kyler Gordon was insane. The old segments on ESPN, you got jacked up. I mean, that was the quintessential jacked up moment there. But yes, Josh Blackwell, and he's getting in on the return game too. Like he's starting to push his way up to the top of the food chain on the punt return game.
Well, 2 players in this game had a sack and 2 tackles for loss. One of them was Daniel Hardy. Who was the other one?
Josh Blackwell. No?
A sack and 2 tackles for loss.
Sack and 2 tackles for loss. I blacked out. Caleb Williams.
No, it's Kyler Gordon.
Oh, Kyler Gordon.
But those are defensive lineman numbers.
Don't ask me trick questions.
No, my point is that's D-line. That's a D-line stat line.
Right.
And it's your nickel corner.
Right.
With a sack and 2 TFLs in the game.
He's big too, man. He's long and big, you know. And back to Daniel Hardy. He's definitely pushing Dominique Robinson. You know, I know Dominique spoke to the media and talked about some of the different things that he's been doing here this offseason and trying to get ready. But you see those moves that Daniel Hardy made, specifically that spin cycle, you know, that was an aggressive Dwight Freeney type of move. I'm not saying he's Dwight Freeney, but at the same time, that was an impressive move he put on. And that's 2 weeks in a row that he's making plays. Somebody asked me on Twitter, like, who's going to be the Terrell Lewis of this team that you're going to freak out about? Well, I mean, if Daniel Hardy keeps playing like this, he might be that one that I'm like pounding the table that we need to make sure he stays on this roster.
Well, remember, he was here last year on the practice squad. So, you know, maybe he's somebody who ends up back on the practice squad.
Again, speaking to the development that Matt Eberflus deserves credit for.
Right. Yeah, because he was actually in the 2022 draft, was drafted by the Rams, but basically didn't play and was hurt most of that first season. Then he got signed to the practice squad of the Bears last August after being in training camp with the Rams. So basically spent the time on the practice squad, developed behind the scenes, and now we're seeing pretty interesting preseason from him, to say the least. So, yeah, I think Daniel Hardy rightfully deserves a shout-out in this game. Anyone else that you got? The other one I was going to give was Bagent, but we kind of talked about Bagent.
Let me get into my notes here because, look, I'm taking notes now. I'm taking
now
notes
we're really
now.
in trouble.
But I did completely black out at halftime and pass out on Austin Booker. You know, we haven't talked about Austin Booker. Really, like just week to week, watching his pursuit of the football. Even, you know, he'll come across a play, but he stays with it. And at one point on one of them where he came across, you know, he did a stunt inside and he kind of got lost away from the play, and then the quarterback stepped up and he came over and got in on the tackle. I looked over at you. I go, that looked right. That looked right. You know, and so he's continuing to get in on the action. He's certainly somebody that is standing out to me. You know, it's just, that's something to continue to monitor. I don't want to put too much expectation on a rookie DN, as Corey Wooten has told us so many times, like how much of an adjustment that is, and especially for somebody his size and having to learn, you know, counter moves. But at the same time, he looks right. He really does. And then I guess the other thing that we really haven't talked about is your guy, Tory Taylor, right? You know, his first punt.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying he should get a game ball too.
Yeah, well, he somewhat outkicked his coverage on the first punt. Like he boomed it so far that it gave the ability, you know, for, you know, a nice return. But then he had the ball where he punted from like the 30-yard line and got it to the 10. You know, and maybe that punt should have been fielded. Instead, it rolls to the 10. You know, so Tory Taylor continues to be pretty impressive. That's it. That's all I got.
No, it's good. Let's get to. I know I saw a $50 super chat in there.
Yeah, and guess who it's from? Our favorite, Crystal Simone.
Yeah, let's go, Crystal. Crystal coming through with a game day $50 super chat. Love it. Says, hey guys, just saying, hey, bear down. Didn't watch the game, but saw a few highlights. I'm excited. Gotta run. Can't stay, but keep up the great work.
The hell, Crystal?
Yeah, was
gotta
this the preseason?
Run. What are we doing?
I feel like she's on vacation, right? I think she said something about this.
Wait a minute. Carm's on vacation?
Crystal's on vacation? The plot thickens.
Except we found Carm. We have visual evidence of Carm today at the game, which we will show you.
Well, let's see it. Do we have it, or do we got to take a break?
We got it. We do have to take a break, but here's a quick snippet.
Yeah.
Little sneak peek here.
That guy in that yellow jacket, I mean, first of all, there's a lot going on here. I had to pause it. I actually went and got my iPad to pull this up because I was like, wait a minute, that looked like Carm. I don't know if this is a Curious George episode, but we got we got a bear and we got a man in a yellow jacket. And I was swearing that was Carm.
That is definitely Carm.
Yeah.
I just want to go on record.
Yes. Kevin Kadick saying the man in the yellow jacket better looking than Carm.
Come on now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're right.
That's true.
Well, maybe Carm will never come back, and then
Carm might have been the guy in the bear outfit too.
Well, if he doesn't come back, we're gonna have to go.
Twin brother.
We're gonna have to call up our friends at Indeed.
Indeed.
To find somebody else, because when you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employees agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
That's right. And one thing all of you need to do, besides hit that like button, and we appreciate you getting us over 1,000 likes here live on the show, but I want to keep pumping that number up, Bears fans. And, obviously you're subscribing to us, but we also want you to become a CHGO diehard at allchgo.com/diehard. And when you do, you get a free shirt right out the gate. We got some really cool, our franchise collection, the Air It Out shirt, one of my favorite designs we got in our CHGO locker. You get discounts on all future purchases on shirts. And as I've said 100 times, there's the football season collection right there. If you're watching here on our YouTube channel, got a lot of really cool designs for you guys to have and get you ready for game days coming up here. So, overall though, Adam Hoge's putting out his newsletter weekly. A lot of different written content that's exclusive only to, diehard subscribers. So this is the time to do it, because then you also get discounts on our tailgates that are going to be coming up for every single home game all season long. We're going to be with our guys over at the Chicago Bears Tailgating Club, the corner of Wabash and Cermak. And then, as I said, we're also taking the trip to Phoenix, Arizona. If you weren't able to make the trip to London, you can join us in Phoenix to see the Bears go head-to-head with the Arizona Cardinals on November 3rd. With our guys over at True Fan Travel. The trip package includes a 3-night stay to a 4-star Phoenix hotel, Q&A with Bears alumni, still to be determined on who those guys will be, but Corey Wooten will be with the group here at CHGO, so you can be hanging out with the Woot, talking about his old days of smashing Brett Favre into the turf, round-trip transportation to the game, a ticket to the game, an upper-level ticket to the Bears-Cardinals game. Reserve your spot at the party at truefantravel.com now. Limited spots available, but these are all the great things we're doing here at CHGO Sports and CHGO Bears, and we want you guys to get on board here with us. Become a diehard at allchgo.com/diehard. You'll be helping yourself. You'll be helping us, and riding this journey together. We've only just begun, Bears fans. This is going to be a special next 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 15 years. We shall see.
I got bad news for everyone, though.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I hate to do this.
Why
Don't worry, it's not really bad news.
Jeez, don't fucking do that.
Well, I have a smile on my face.
That's
Read the room. It's not bad news.
My heart.
Okay, well,
I almost had a heart attack.
I have to break it to you, Greg, that unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes must have seen what Caleb Williams did today and said, not in my NFL, because he just completed a behind-the-back pass to Travis Kelce.
Well, fuck him. I mean, Jesus Christ, Mahomes. Okay, let us have one day. You know, I get we didn't draft you. We're sorry, but now we've all moved on. You know, sometimes things work out for two parties that went their separate ways. And that's what you're seeing here, Patrick. So let us have our goddamn day.
Oh,
okay?
Man. Seriously, like he just couldn't let Caleb top him. He's like, no. I'm going to just go behind the back, flip to Travis Kelce.
Well, you know, he's probably got a vendetta now because Caleb said, his favorite quarterback is Matthew Stafford. Or who he considered were the best quarterbacks.
Well, look,
Stafford and
if those two want to go back and forth on the highlight reels all season, I think we'll take that.
Yeah, you know what? One step at a time. I'm one day I'll be ready to slay the Mahomes dragon, but right now I'm enjoying beating the Bengals in a preseason game.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Well, all right. Where do we stand on all right. I know we got some press conferences going on, which we're going to get to here shortly.
We'll have those in probably 3 minutes.
Okay. Sounds good. Matt Eberflus
and
Caleb Williams.
A few super chats.
And yeah, we'll get some super chats here. And I know Nick is in the Bears locker room right now, getting a bunch of that. So we'll hear from Nick too. I know he talked to Rome Odunze and Kyler Gordon. So we'll have plenty of good audio coming from Soldier Field your way here momentarily too. But yeah, let's hit a couple supers as we continue to celebrate what was an exciting preseason win. Yes, preseason, but still look pretty damn good. Fran Chile 199. Those are the drives and plays that win Super Bowl.
Our preseason end of the first half, unbelievable drive. Those are the plays that win Super Bowl. You know what? At the end of the day, Fran Chile, I get it, and some people will laugh at it, but there is nothing more dangerous than a quarterback like Caleb Williams who can get out of the pocket the way he can, the way he truly threatens you in serious ways with his legs and his arm. And you saw that combination on full display on 3 different plays, from the bomb to Rome Odunze to the corner end zone, play that got called off because Rome couldn't keep his feet in bounds. And then finally the touchdown all 3 times, pocket escapability, awareness downfield, head straight, looking at, telling guys, hey, move this way, move that way, just calm, cool, and collected, making the right decisions, and eventually finding his way into the end zone. Those are the kind of quarterbacks that will not be denied.
Joseph Brown, $20. If you could have any quarterback in the league right now over the next 5 years, who would it be? Dare I say we've already got him?
Well, there's this guy that threw a behind that back pass. But other than that, no.
I love the excitement.
See?
But if you're going to say anybody besides Patrick Mahomes right now, you're insane. The guy already has 3 rings and he's still young.
And that's fair.
Yes, that is
fair.
But
take Mahomes off the board.
Okay.
Take Mahomes off the board, Hoge. Is there anybody in the league you would rather have than Caleb Williams? And I'm trying to control myself here today.
This is not a post-game segment. This is we need 24 hours to let this marinate.
No.
And I'm not doing that.
You're going to do it.
Nope. That thing's recording, and no matter what I say, it's going to be criticized.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit. There is no quarterback outside of Patrick Mahomes in this league that I would rather have than Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I am head over heels.
You did it.
I am absolutely in love.
You don't want Brock Purdy?
No.
That was a joke. Me neither. All right. How about the head coach? Let's hear what he has to say. Matt Eberflus,
My guy.
speaking to the media. We're happy to bring this to you on the postgame show. Here is the coach.
So I'll start off by saying that, it was a good day, a good learning experience for really everybody. I thought that in spots we were really good in terms of complementary football. Defense got 3 turnovers. We scored 3 times off of those, a touchdown and 2 field goals, and I thought that was really good complementary football. Our offense ended every drive with a kick, either a punt, a field goal, or an extra point, which is what we always want. We had a nice punt and pin, and then defense did a nice job stopping them, getting that midfield. I know Dante wished he would have had that return back, but he certainly did a nice job of making up for it. He had a couple of nice routes and a couple of nice touchdowns, and I thought they connected really well. So to start the game, with the offense, I thought, what I thought Caleb did today that was really well was he had a nice professional day at quarterbacking. So it's not always going to be rosy. You're not going to make all your completions and make these big chunk plays to start out. And so I saw operation that was good before the snap, in and out of the huddle, really good communicating. Cadence was good. I thought his flow of the game was really nice. I also thought that, his disposition when he had a little adversity on the sideline was excellent. Him working with the players, body language, demeanor never changed. He was always in there just, working to the next one. And then finally we got the reverse to Rome and got a big pass and those things. And got the DPI and the one red zone, kind of stalled out there from self-inflicted wounds during that one. But, we did get it down there. We ended up scoring, and it was good. But overall, I thought it was a good day, a lot of learning. We'll look at the tape, and we'll get better from this. We got a short week coming up, so it was good to get those guys in there for those amount of plays.
What was your view of the roll left, the deep ball to Rome?
Yeah, so that was running away from me. So I've seen him do that a few times in practice. Obviously, very, very talented running, throwing on the move and rolling to his left, right? So it was really good. And Rome did a nice job of tracking the ball. It was no doubt it was a catch, and did a really nice job.
This is it for him in terms of preseason snaps. Well, I'll ask you, is he going to play Thursday, number one? But if he's not, this is it. What have you learned about Caleb in these preseason game settings?
Yeah, to answer your first one, we'll look at the tape, and we'll just talk as a group. The players are off tomorrow, so we got the whole day to be able to really digest this performance from every level, including the quarterback. And then we'll just look at each other and say, yeah, this is good, or we'll have to, flow into the next one. We'll see where that is. In terms of what I learned from him is what I've said all along. He always rises to the challenge, and we'll challenge him again this week to improve on basically everything of quarterbacking that he needs to, and he's done that. He's done a really good job of that, and so we'll just look at it like that.
Did you adjust your plan to play him longer so we could finish with some momentum today?
No, that was the range that we had. So we don't go into it and say, hey, we're going to play a quarter, or 2 quarter, whatever, quarter and a half. That doesn't work. So how you do it is you say, hey, we're going to have a range of series and a range of number of plays, and then, like I said the other day at the presser, that's how you see the ebb and flow of the game, and guys are able to play until we say, okay, hey, that's good, as a group. And again, I ultimately make that decision, but we like to do it that way.
We saw Ryan Poles looking at the turf for a couple hours before the game started. Did you have any role in taking a look at it, and what did you make of it? Because it seemed a little beat up.
Yeah, so the turf, our guys do a great job of putting the turf down. The thing with this time was that it was put down a little bit later because of the concerts and everything like that, and hadn't been down that long. But it was, in terms of its safety, in terms of its play, in terms of what it was on the field, it was fine. It was good. Because the NFL obviously tests that. It was up to their standards. And again, once it ends up, being in there for a couple more weeks before the first game, it'll look beautiful.
You called a lot of blitzes, or a good amount of blitzes today. You came.
What was the percentage? Come on, Pat.
Preseason. But do you know what the percentage was?
I don't know.
Look at it. You came in with a reputation as a defensive coordinator, like to get the quarterback to throw. Well, how have you evolved in the last couple of years in terms of bringing the extra guy to the point to where you've got a guy in Kyler who's really comfortable doing it?
Yeah. We've had a couple of guys that have been good at it in the system. One of them's in the Hall of Fame, but I would just say that bringing that nickel slot pressure is a good thing. We've always done that. Guys have seen that forever, and it's nothing new. We feel really good about what Kyler can bring. He has a really, really wide range set, in terms of his skills. He's really good, in man, good in zone, good into all the things we do that way, and he's good at pressuring. So we like sending him, and he's good at it.
Even though your backups are playing on your defense, how important are the takeaways to creating the kind of culture you're looking for?
Yeah, that's big. That's what we do. We like to stop the run, take the ball away. Set short fields for our offense, and we're just trying to play complementary football, getting those distances that we like. I don't think we did a good enough job on third down today. I thought we need to do a better job with that. But we should be getting off the field more than we did today, so we'll look at that with a critical eye. And but overall, the run defense was solid.
What's the lesson with Caleb on the grounding penalty on the first drive? The deep
Yeah, so that's has to be under duress. I talked to the officials about that because I thought the pocket was pretty clean the entire time, and I think one of our slot receivers got jammed up and supposed to be coming out on that one, and so I did talk to him about it. I didn't think it was under duress.
Can you speak on Tyson Bagent's his performance in the third quarter? Really electrified the fans, changed the pace of the game. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Bagent's always done that. We've seen him play in games last year. Did a wonderful job for us coming in there, and he's a good player. He really is, and understands the offense really well. Picks up things really well. Can chunk a lot of information. He's a really good rhythm passer. He really can throw on time. You saw that one, in cut right there, and then the seam ball. The seam ball, that's you have to have a little touch there and be able to place it in the right spot, and did a really nice job with that. So he's got all the angles, all the speeds that you need, and he's a talent.
How to evaluate offensive lines without seeing the tape of Nate Davis? How would you evaluate his day based on what you saw?
Yeah, I would have to look. Because it's so hard to look at sometimes, unless you see something, a guy jump off sides or you see a guy get beat right away. It's hard to evaluate those inside players. The pocket looked pretty clean for the most part today, and our guys have been doing a good job with that.
You mentioned Rome on the end around. What do you guys like about him with the ball in his hands?
Just the speed. He's really fast. He's got really good speed. He's got a couple of different gears, and he's becoming a really good route runner. And he can track the deep ball. That's what he does. That's what he did in college. That's what he's doing here. So we're excited about him.
Couple more.
You talked about Caleb keeping a level head kind of when things weren't going well and when they were.
Yep.
What is your interaction with him on the sideline? And in what ways do you see kind of how his body language is influencing others when he's over there? And do you watch for that as a head coach?
Yeah. So we meet, a few times a week. We meet before the game. We talk about all those things that I talked about on the onset of this interview here, and he holds true to that. Because that's being a quarterback. You're supposed to be. Yeah, you have to be the leader, and he demonstrated that today by the way his demeanor was and the way he had poise and the way he came back. And eventually things are going to crack, and he did a nice job with that today. But we're always having conversations with that. I went back there one time and talked to him, just the interaction. Hey, we're going to get this next one going, and we did. But it's been good.
Matt, what are you seeing from Caleb in terms of scrambling to buy time, but it still looks like first thought is downfield?
Yeah, so in the red zone there, you have some, some things in terms of being able to extend plays. Every quarterback in the league extend plays in the red zone, and he does that, and he's very good at it. He would have had a touchdown there if Rome, Rome has, obviously I talked to Rome after the game about learning where your feet are and feeling that out. It's been good. It's been good, but again, there's a balance there between throwing the ball on time and then scrambling when you have to, and he has a good balance of that.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right, a lot of good stuff there from Matt Eberflus. I was taking notes while Greg was watching more Caleb highlights.
What did he say? I have no idea what he just said there. I heard him talk about Caleb.
Well, he was talking about Caleb. He says it was a nice professional day at quarterback. He loved the operation.
I loved it too.
Loved the cadences. Loved the flow of the game for Caleb.
Yeah, no false starts again, right?
Yeah, gave credit. He said his disposition was excellent when he was facing adversity. In that game, the way he was on the sideline after three 3 and outs.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw some frustration on the field a little bit in some of those moments. You could kind of see Caleb like sort of screaming at himself or talking to himself or anything, but it seems like
he's definitely animated.
Yeah.
There was that one point where he was over center before the snap and he like kind of made an adjustment. I think it was when he threw that little to the slot. I think it was to Gerald Everett. And he did something with like his head. I didn't know if he was like cracking his back. I do that sometimes, but it almost seemed like he was like saying something to the other side of the ball, but I don't know. I'll have to go back and look.
There was the turf issue we talked about pregame, which turned out to not really seem like an issue during the game. Flus kind of explained that, as we kind of knew, that concert last weekend led to the turf going in late, and so not sure it's all completely settled, but their pregame determination was that any issues with the seams or whatever were on the sideline or kind of out of the field of play. And it did seem like the middle was fine. And we did see some rain. We did see some downpours during the game.
Yep.
So good to see that hold up and wasn't an issue.
Yeah, no injuries. That was Nick's big what was most important, what mattered most to Nick Moreano, who will join us here shortly. No injuries.
And then I think the next question becomes the rest of the preseason.
100%.
What they decide to do here on Thursday. It's a quick turnaround to Kansas City. I'd love to live in a world where Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams just exchange highlights all night for 4
every
quarters.
week for the rest of our lives.
But I don't know that we're going to get that on Thursday. So,
I have a take on this.
Well, real quick, let me relay what Flus said, and then
Okay.
I want to hear your opinion. But because my understanding is that the players were prepared to play in all 3 of these preseason games. So not the Hall of Fame game to start, but they were prepared and told that they could be playing in all 3 of these games. Now, we know that Matty Eberflus is willing to adapt and adjust to it because we saw it literally in game today.
Yep.
With the amount that he ended up playing by putting them out there for an extra
and
series.
last week too.
Yeah.
And
by getting those extra snaps, like you heard Flus in that press conference say, we're going to kind of regroup, we'll look at the tape, we'll see what we got out of this, and make a determination on whether or not they should play Thursday. So I have a feeling this is a little bit up in the air. I'm curious to hear Cole Kmet's thoughts on this, who we'll talk to on the 85.
You tell him he's playing. You tell him
Should I tell him what you said during the game when he caught his pass?
Yeah, tell him that. You tell him no drops or he's cut, podcast done, and then you tell him that he's playing on Thursday, or he'll have to speak to me when he comes to the studio next time.
Okay.
Because that is my take on this. Like, unless, are you done with the Eberflus thoughts on what he said?
That's I think they might make an adjustment here, but I do want to hear what Cole has to say about it.
Because we're at 42 total snaps. I mean, we'll get the official count tomorrow, but last week was 18, but technically 20 if you include the penalties. This week's 22, so probably a couple more with the penalties, right? The Tyler, I don't know how that works with the snap count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
So we're probably around somewhere like around 45. And he said
plus what he got in the practice.
Right, plus what he got in the practice, which I don't count. But
I don't either. But
I don't count it.
Yeah.
Maybe the coaches do, but I don't count it. Regardless, they might count it. So he said 45. Matt Eberflus said 45 to 55 before the preseason started. And he's gotten to that number pretty much at this point. Great. But at the same time, this is all about being ready for the season. You don't play next Thursday. That's 22 days, 3 weeks, 3+ weeks before week 1. There's a rust factor that takes place. On top of that, you have 2 Thursday night games this year. And you need to prep for those scenarios and get these guys ready for how they're going to play on a shortened week and get them into their game mode and the preparation that they'll do for the next couple practices and then how they attack their game plan. We talked to Cole Kmet about this last year. He actually said how much he enjoys the Thursday night games. But that's because of the break you get after it and the quote-unquote mini bye you get by playing that short week. But at the same time, you got to have your preparation down pat to be able to have that. So take advantage of the fact that you have a shortened week and simulate what you're going to do in the regular season when those games come around, and you got to be ready to win some games.
Yeah, I think you're making a lot of great points right now.
That's all I do.
You do have 17 days from the time you play that game against the Chiefs to when you play the Titans. You also have 2 Thursday games this season.
Right.
So getting that, just sort of going through those motions and understanding, turning your body around.
And that doesn't mean play a whole half.
Yeah.
On Thursday, but have them ready to play a game that day. And if you pull them after one series, after everything we've seen, I probably won't be as upset, even though I want to see him play all game.
Yeah. Well,
and by him, I only care about one player on this team.
My guess,
and it's not Cole Kmet anymore.
Wow. We'll play that for him on this week's show.
I'm sorry. It's true, though. I care about nothing.
I can verify that that's all true. Yes. Let's bring in Nicholas Moreano. We will hear from Caleb Williams, too, after we check in with Nick, who's back from the locker room, back in the press box, looking really, really good. And I know that you talked to Rome Odunze. Let's start there before we go to the defensive side. So what did Rome have to say about his connection with Caleb today out there in this game against the Bengals?
Yeah, so, I mean, on that play, guys, that 45-yard reception down the left sideline, again, that was a play where obviously Caleb and Rome had to improvise from what was originally scheduled in that play. Like, Rome said he had a corner route that he was going to run on that play. And then when he saw Caleb kind of do, as his words, his magic back there, he adjusted, went down vertically, and was able to connect. And I think that's a really positive sign from those two rookies who just last week in Buffalo, they had a 3rd and long play where they didn't connect in the end zone because they were off. They weren't on the same page. And I actually asked Rome about like being able to adjust from a week to week. And he said it just shows the continued growth and connection and gaining the comfortability from one another. So that was nice to see from Rome and Caleb. And he was also asked to describe that throw because he got a chance to watch it in the locker room, just the replay. He said, pretty unreal. It's magical what he's doing. He is special. And that word special got thrown around too in the locker room about Caleb Williams when they were kind of watching him. And then, guys, I don't know if you – obviously you're able to see this, but in the back of the end zone, like there's an extra part of the end zone where on both sides, one side says play football, and one side it says takes all of us. It takes all of us. In that one play where Rome wasn't able – he tried to toe tap it into the end zone, and it ended up being incomplete. He did admit that he thought he was going to be Tony toe tap and, was able to get in. He thought he had a comfy cushion there. But he did say, like, obviously it's a learning moment for him, and he's going to work on, like, trying to get toe tap catches from here on out. But I will admit, when I came to Soldier Field and saw that, I'm like, that's a little confusing just from my vantage point. And clearly, when the players were out there, like, Rome felt the same way in the moment when the bullets are flying and you have to make these quick decisions. So it was interesting that came up, but that was one of the reasons why, maybe Rome didn't have a touchdown in this game.
Boom, Nick. When we were sitting there,
okay.
When we were watching the game, because I just am excuse making for any mistakes that my precious Chicago Bears are making, in the moment I said, I'm like, there's too many lines over there. It's confusing. And so Not So Humble Braggs makes his return to the CHGO Bears postgame show. This is going to be – I did say it. Yeah. Did I not say it, Steven?
I heard nothing.
You heard it.
All I heard, Nick, was the head coach say he had a talk with the player after the game, hopefully about how there's 10 yards in the end zone and they're all the same exact size. And you didn't know how to keep your feet in bounds.
No, you're using your periphery vision.
You can't
and there's
blame
all
Soldier
these
Field for
lines all over everything. I can blame Soldier Field on everything, and I will. Too many lines. Get the other line out of here. It's too confusing. Thank you. Sorry, Rome.
It was still great reporting by Nick, though.
Great reporting.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. He was also asked to Rome just how to feel to kind of just be out there first time playing in front of Soldier Field. And again, it felt great, even though like not every single seat was filled, of course, maybe due to weather. It's a preseason game, but in this opportunity they got, it felt great because he was able to make a few plays, but also, again, make some of those mistakes. Like that play that we were just describing over there, whether it was due to him, due to the field, whatever, make those mistakes. He can learn from it moving forward. And that's ultimately what these preseason games are for, so they can feel ready for week one. And Rome was also asked, like, now 2 preseason games being played for the starting offense. Like, how does he feel, just ahead of week one coming up here shortly? He said definitely feels ready, have a lot of moments to learn from, but he does feel like the offense is in a good spot right now.
It's in a great spot, Nick. It's in a great spot. I think I said 900 times here today, I cannot believe what we're all witnessing, and this is going to be a lot of fun. But the other thing that was pretty unbelievable was Kyler Gordon's day. I don't know if you had a chance to talk to him, but, man, that sack he about took that poor guy's head off. Woodburn, Woodfire, Mr. Wood.
We're going with Logan Blindside.
Logan Blindside. I mean, Matt Eberflus showing no mercy to that young man, and neither did Kyler Gordon.
No, look, Kyler Gordon said he was fiending and inching to get back out there. So he was asked, like, were you surprised that you were completely unblocked off the edge? And Kyler was like, he was waiting for the quarterback to look, and when he didn't look, he laid down the wood. Like, literally. But he said it was a good feeling when he made that play. He also felt like it changed the whole game, because then moving forward, he knew that quarterback was going to start looking towards Kyler anytime he inched up towards the line of scrimmage, thinking, is this guy going to blitz again? And later in the game, Josh Blackwell came on a nickel blitz and, helped cause an interception later in the game. But he said he felt good. He felt good juicing up the whole stadium. And he was also asked about, like, you guys were mentioning, like, the blitzing that Eberflus is, calling up. Kyler was asked about the evolution of Eberflus as a play caller, and how Kyler Gordon kind of described it was like he would compare it to like a player. Like, you learn, you add in stuff, and you spice things up, and you could do these things on the football field when you have that comfortability with the players that are out there. So I don't think Kyler Gordon's opposed to blitzing in the preseason. I'm sure Cincinnati quarterbacks are, but it was nice to see Kyler Gordon go out there, make a bunch of plays, and do his thing. He was also one of the other guys that brought up the word special when describing Caleb Williams. He said, hear the words special, magical. He's going to do a lot of great things, great player. He's also excited to just watch him continue to do what he's been doing. So really good to see number 6, Spider-Man, do his thing out there.
Nick, I know you also talked to Tevin Jenkins. What did he have to say playing in front of Caleb today?
Yeah, so first thing he was asked about too was just playing with the starting O-line and like what it felt like there. He said that it was really good for all those guys to be out there. Admitted that they have to start faster, but felt like they gelled, and I think more so towards the end there when they're actually starting to move the ball. He was also asked guys again about the playing surface. This was a huge topic of conversation before the game. And Tevin said he didn't like it at all. There was, spots on this field where he said it just felt sticky in some parts. So he was also asked, is that kind of frustrating that this product out here, the NFL is putting out this product, and yet we can't have a good playing surface? And he admitted, like, hey, that's above my pay grade. Didn't really want to go into the weeds with answering that question. But in terms of Caleb, like you first asked here, Adam, he was just like, because he has the ability to extend plays, he just knows that what they've been preaching, and this is even back to when Justin Fields was a quarterback, you just have to protect forever. And so that's something that when Tevin and the rest of this O-line are going out there for Caleb Williams, you protect forever, just have to keep doing it, because that's the type of quarterback he is, according to Tevin Jenkins. He's going to make things happen. So it was, again, we saw that happen on the touchdown run. And I don't know if I'm technically allowed to say what he actually said about the touchdown run, because there's definitely some swear words when he saw that there was only 2 wide receivers out there, 2 DBs, and then Caleb Williams and Tevin Jenkins. But if you guys give the okay, I can tell you exactly what he said when he saw that play happen.
I think our boss just put in our Slack that we shouldn't say the exact words. So if you'd like to bleep them,
I'll say them. No.
Yeah. Okay. So he said, I was like, damn, why don't we just run this bitch and take this MFer? Sorry for cussing.
Man, I want
it's like Cole Kmet. It's like Cole Kmet saying, "Don't quote me." It's like you put. Tevin, you're saying that
on the record.
On the record.
Ask you a question about that. Did he go in any detail about the communication there, the field? That's a tough spot to be in as an offensive lineman because he has his back to Caleb. You can't go downfield, or if he throws the ball, it's an illegal man downfield then. So, at what point is Caleb yelling at him to say, go, go, go? How does he know that all of a sudden Caleb's going to tuck it?
Yeah, the one word that Tevin actually used, he's just trying to be patient because realistically, if Caleb decided to throw that ball, then it's a penalty on him. And then Tevin's like, then I'm getting yelled at because he's trying to do his job. So I think the word there is patience in terms of waiting to see what Caleb's going to do, not predetermining it too quickly. So Tevin in that moment stayed patient. And then when he saw Caleb run, it's that's when you can officially commit to making that block. So patience would be the word that Tevin used, why that play was actually able to happen.
Look, again, we don't want to get over our skis here, but
no, that's what I've done.
Football is a very instinctual sport, and there are just some things you cannot teach that just play out the right way. And when you have a quarterback who can do that stuff, it starts to rub off on the teammates and the players around them. And that felt like one of those moments because I'm like, I don't know how telepathically he communicated to Tevin that I'm tucking this and running it, but clearly based on what Tevin's saying, it's just sort of a feel thing. And I
telepathically told Caleb that I love him from the studio to the stadium. Nick, my final question to you before we let you jet, the last time the Bears played at Soldier Field, the fans in the stands were chanting, "We want Fields. We want Fields." And it was a very powerful moment for the fan base that was rallying around the quarterback at the time that they loved. And now you fast forward to the next time that stadium gets filled up with Bears fans and Caleb Williams starts to put on display what he did. And there was a lot of questions of, how this process was going to go and how he was going to ingratiate himself, not just with the team, but the fans here that, just love this football team for who they are. What was it like to see that transition from the last time you were here all those months ago to today and seeing the reactions of fans after Caleb Williams made those plays?
Yeah, Greg, it took a little bit too, right? Because it was obviously a slow start, but when you saw that completion to Rome Odunze down the left sideline, this place exploded. It got really loud and just seeing what he was capable of doing. And then on the touchdown run, seeing Caleb kind of go into the back left corner and just the fans embracing him, it was that moment that you were waiting for and you kind of wish you saw at the start of the game, but people I think were just waiting for it. And just even probably his teammates were. So clearly embraced him. His teammates embraced him. And I think people are really obviously excited. I ran into one of our listeners pregame. I believe his name is Kevin, but you could just see the excitement on his face being at a preseason game because knowing that number 18 was also going to be out there. So it obviously is a way different feel from the previous quarterback, but the play where Rome Odunze makes, it's because Caleb's looking to throw when he gets outside the pocket as opposed to run. And so that is exciting.
Nick, great stuff, man. Awesome work today. Shout out to Pat out there too, assisting you. Great coverage from Soldier Field. Everyone should be following Nick and all of our social accounts as well at CHGO_Bears. Yes, Nick?
Yeah, I got one last thing. As I was heading down to the locker room, obviously Tyson Bagent came on the show. Who was out there was Tyson's dad, Travis Bagent. He knew exactly who I was, gave us the fist bump. He was like, what a game from Tyson. Dude also has giant forearms, too. I'm like, dude, you're probably going to break my knuckles here. So, obviously, a huge fan. I'm fine. If he really wanted to, he probably could have destroyed me, but I'm glad he's in because he likes us. He likes us here at CHGO, so that was great to see. So, a lot of excitement here, and I'm glad that first-team offense was able to put a bunch of smiles on Bears fans' faces before, they left here and go to Kansas City.
Awesome. And you will be there, Nick. So we will be right back at it on Monday at House Hall with practice, and we'll see you there.
All right, you guys. See ya.
And I know Travis Bagent and Tyson are excited for, when Tyson was in here just a couple weeks ago or a week ago. I've kind of lost track at this point. He was in to promote that they're having that big charity dinner here tonight.
That's tonight, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They're helping the AHS and CORE. So they're helping out the AHS Animal Shelter is a no-kill shelter that rescues and cares for homeless pets. So Tyson Bagent, putting on a big event here tonight. So shout out to those guys because I know that they're doing something, raising money for some great causes.
Love to hear that. And dare I say, the Bears have depth at quarterback.
It's crazy.
And that was it really dawned on me a couple weeks ago when we were watching practice, and now it just really feels like it's
Brett Rippon playing the way he did in the what was that, the Hall of Fame game now?
Yeah, that was
I just think the other big takeaway too over these last few days, because those joint practice weeks are always very unique, as opposed to the different preseason weeks, where there's an adjustment. They play at joint practice, then they play in the preseason game, and there's a little bit of a chess match that takes place there. And, the last time there was a joint practice here, the Miami Dolphins reporters came to Hallis Hall. And there was this Omar Kelly who covers the Dolphins, got kind of attacked by Bears fans because he said, I don't think the Bears quarterback is better than Tua. This guy, Tua has his flaws, but he throws with anticipation and accuracy, and I'm not seeing that from the Bears quarterback room. And if you go back and look at that tweet, like the Bears fans that went after him for that take, we all look kind of foolish right now. Well, then the Bengals reporters come here, and you have this Jeremy Roush, that Fox reporter who had a video that he put out, and his biggest takeaway of the day from the joint practice was that Caleb Williams is so impressive. And I think for me, watching the Bears practice here these last few weeks and trying to decipher the good from the bad when there's mistakes being made, and then watching the way they played the Bengals here over the last couple days, you're seeing that it is iron sharpens iron. It is good versus good. And now that they're starting to get to play some other teams, they're getting to flex their muscles here a little bit. And that's got me really excited for the regular season, that this can be a very real thing. I mean, how many points have the Bears scored here in these 3 preseason games? Something we really haven't talked about all that much because it's a little bit out of my depth personally, but this system that Shane Waldron's showing, and I know we're only touching the surface of it. Like,
I don't mean to kill your buzz on that, but
please do not kill my buzz, or I might kill you.
The starters have scored 13.
The starters?
Yes.
Yeah, but overall, the system itself, Tyson Bagent, all these things are taken into account. So I just enjoy the way they're attacking the field. Doesn't matter what quarterback's in there. We talk about the quarterback development. So for me, there's just so many positive signs. And to watch them in the joint practice, have a good day where you guys said they won the day, shutting them down.
Yep.
Then they take out Jalen Johnson today, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and they once again won the day.
Let me correct myself. Would be 16 because they had the field goal and the touchdown today. So the 2 field goals last week, field goal touchdown this week.
Mm-hmm.
So
and 81 total points in those 3 preseason games, and $100 in a super chat from Carrie Huss right here. She says, slow start today. Love the coaching staff kept Caleb out there for a full half. He needs the reps. A lot to be excited about, and still waiting for my diehard, I'm guessing, shout out. Oh, it's a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Love you guys, and bear down.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. And speaking of that, Carrie, thank you so much for that awesome super
Really
chat.
appreciate it.
We were just told that fully in stock our newest collection of shirts, including
the franchise collection.
The franchise collection. That's right. That's what we're calling it.
That's right.
So you get the one that says "The Franchise," tough as nails, and air it out. Their air it out one is especially sweet in my opinion. So those are all available for you in the CHGO locker. And as Carrie mentioned, you become a diehard, you get a free shirt when you sign up, plus 20% off all merch. So that's all there for you. Go get it right now.
Get all the merch you possibly can and just ride this high that is Chicago Bears quarterback heaven.
We promise we will get to the rest of your super chats. We also want to hear from the quarterback. and what he had to say after the game, and we were there for it. So here is Caleb Williams.
Hey, everybody. On that touchdown run that you had, it seemed like your first instinct was to pass.
Yep.
How do you balance handling the instinct to take what the defense was there if it's open grass versus always throwing?
Yeah, it's a little tough because I like to pass the ball. Even in scramble mode, things like that, I tend to lean a lot more towards throwing the ball for completion right in front of me. However, it may work something crazy or just throwing it to the end zone and things like that. So, they've been coaching me about attacking the line of scrimmage and things like that on my scrambles, on the rollouts, on the keepers and things like that. So I've been trying to get a little bit better with balancing that and taking what they give me, taking what the defense gives me with, whether it's a run for yardage or it's a quick pass in front of me or things like that. So it's always a constant battle to do things like that. You just continue to get better at those situations.
Eberflus was talking about he said you had a very professional day.
Yep.
When things weren't going well, you were the same.
Yep.
And that's something you guys talked about. Right?
Yep.
I'm sure you've been coached to do that your whole life. But
yep.
How does that come naturally for you, or do you have to focus?
No, I would say I think I'm a little bit more fiery in practice because obviously it's practice. You want things to be right. Also, you're competing versus your defense, so you get to there's a little bit more free time within those periods and things like that. So it's also understanding that, and also understanding the game and understanding that within the game you have to. Now, there's going to be times where you got to get on your guys or get on yourself or, encourage the guys or, get on somebody, like I said. And then there's times where it's just, okay, let's keep going. Let's, stay cool, calm, collected about the situation and encourage that, this next drive, this next play, we have a TV timeout or we had a couple TV timeouts, get in the huddle, say a few words like, and be that positive influence on the guys, and then just stay cool, calm, collected. I think in the offense, between the guys and myself, we have our understanding of excellence and perfection that we know that we obviously will never be able to fully accomplish, but with that mindset, it only pushes us to be better. So it also allows me to just kind of be easy and be calm, and then when it's time for me to speak up, when it's time for me to say something, I'll be right there to do so.
You've talked about your internal drive and that kind of striving for perfection. How do you review a game like this personally, looking through some of the struggles early on in the first few drives, and then obviously capping it off strong with that last drive?
Yeah, I would say in the beginning, like Coach said, it's a professional day. We had I gave up a sack that wasn't our line's fault. I gave up a sack that I was in the pocket too long, trying to do too much. And then, the other times, something always went wrong. There may have been a flag or the false start we had that, I kind of rushed the cadence and a lineman tried to anticipate that. And then, a couple of the other things, that's small things that always add up to be big things like, me and DJ not been on the same page, Keenan and I not been on the same page. It always adds up. It's super minute, super small things, but in the game of football, you only have split seconds, and those little things add up. So, we're going to keep working to be perfect. We understand that we won't be able to reach that, but in up and down games and things like that, it's always you can only win the game, as Coach says, in the fourth quarter.
Caleb, on the throw to Rome, when you throw, you would never probably teach that kind of throwing platform.
Yep.
So what are you doing mechanically to get the power and accuracy on that ball when you're in that physical position?
Yeah. It's a good question. It's something that I've worked on in practice. Watching Aaron Rodgers and I know he was a Green Bay guy, sorry guys, but watching Aaron Rodgers in all his times, he's past 19, 20 years. He can do unbelievable things, right, left, running straight, running left, running all these other things. And so just practicing it over time, perfecting it. Obviously, there's going to be times where, I don't put exactly where I want to, but, today it worked out. Rome ran a great route. Or Rome had a good exit plan from his route and got upfield and then made a marvelous catch, a wonderful catch, and I tried to just give him a shot.
Were you able to feed off the love that the Bear fans were giving you today?
Yeah, for it to be a preseason game and things like that, they showed out. They showed up. When I ran through the end zone, it was pretty sick. The roar that the guys had when Rome, and I noticed this after I handed or tossed it to Rome, when he caught that little, behind me around, play, the crowd started roaring and things like that. So it's really cool to be able to have that love and them show up and show out.
On the sidelines, you're going the factor of him just abiding by the rules, the scramble rules, and how much of it maybe the cohesiveness that you guys have formed together, knowing what the other one's going to do.
Yeah, I think both of them play a huge part, probably 50-50. Obviously, he was the deep man on that side, and so he already had the rights to be able to go deep and things like that. Our only thing is just stay in range. If you're running a post and you're already 60 yards down the field, it's a little bit tougher to be able to throw on the run 60 yards when you're already down there and things like that. So just stay in range, make it super decisive and detailed for me so that I can see exactly what you're doing. Don't try and settle and then move and things like that. Other than that, he did a great job. He broke out in his route, saw me scrambling, and then broke up field down the sideline, left a few yards on the hashes, and then tried to give him a great ball. He made a great catch, and so I went.
On the play action deep shot that you got the PI.
Yep.
What did you see on that sequence, and how much did that jumpstart you just getting a big chunk play there?
Yeah, it felt. I was a little hurt because I really wanted that. To be honest with you, but Tyler ran a great route. The safety. The corner tried to overplay. He ended up sitting flat-footed. Tyler ran right by him, ran a great route. The safety came down on the deep over, and then the backside corner tried to invert and get over top of that, and we teach it to stay up and don't cross the hash and things like that, because that backside corner would never be able to make that play, and Tyler did just that. T. Scott, and we got the PI, and we went all the way down there and ended up scoring.
You feel like the Energizer to you?
Yeah, it felt great. In practice, defense has done a good job with our play actions, things like that. So to be able to get out here versus, these other teams and run these play actions, and the offensive line gives ample amount of time and things like that. Wide receivers run great routes. We're gonna start hitting and connecting for these big explosive plays like we talked about.
You think Scott does make the catch?
I do think Scott makes the catch. I tried to give him enough air so he could run under it and run away from the guy. The cornerback, he pulled him, and we got the PI, and I think he would have ran under it and scored a touchdown if not.
Caleb, if this is it for you in the preseason in terms of games, what have you learned by playing game action last year?
What have I learned by playing? That our defense is really good. And because I go versus them every day, I've learned that our defense is really good, and they've done a great job helping me, preparing me. Defensive guys talk to me about things that I do, things that I can get better at. Obviously, the offensive coaches and QBs and everybody obviously talk to me. We have our meetings, but the defensive guys speaking up, telling me what they see from their lens has only made me better. I tell them, and we're all excited that we're going to win a lot of games. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
To see how much production both you and Rome had together today, and him kind of jump-starting things with the end around, what does that tell you about what the two of you can bring to this offense this year?
Yeah, we're going to be explosive. We're two rooks, but we're trying to catch up to the old guys as fast as we can. To make sure that we're right there on par with them, to be able to, be efficient, function, go out there and be explosive, be on the same page, and win games. That's ultimately what we're here to do. And having a guy like that was drafted with me, we're only going to keep growing and keep building this connection.
Caleb, you guys responded to Patrick Mahomes from Tyreek Hill today on social media, but we've heard about it or not yet.
No.
Maybe on the day that you guys didn't start the stats, you would have liked. How does that feel to know that you're still putting off that kind of a show display?
Sorry, you may have to repeat that.
You got compared to Patrick Mahomes for Tyreek Hill. How does it feel coming off of maybe a day that wasn't as efficient as you guys would like to start?
Yeah. It's cool. It's great. I always say, it's respect. But we're not, we weren't our best today. We started out slow. And, we can't do that in this, the National Football League. You can't come out here and start slow. So myself included, we're going to get a lot better. We're going to keep growing. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, winning these games, going out there versus these other teams, playing as one. And so, we're excited. But I got to your question. It's respect. It's cool and all. But, I'm Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill's Tyreek Hill. Much love to them and things like that. Met them, talked to them both and things like that. But, we're here to win games for Chicago Bears.
Love that answer there at the end. That stuff's not going to stop. It is a sign of respect, but it's also kind of crazy talk at the same time. I have a feeling our comment section is going to go down this road, quite a bit this season, and that's fine. This Caleb Fields stuff. For those of you that are missing Justin Fields, I believe that game kicks off at 6 o'clock tonight on the NFL Network, and he's going to be playing football for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you can tune into whatever postgame show there is for that. The Bears have Caleb. He's really good, and
it's just such a surreal world because they're playing the Bills, right?
Yeah.
So it's Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields
tonight
on the same field. And
so for those of you living in the past,
right,
it's a great opportunity tonight for you to watch
and as Mike
football.
Ditka once said, the past is for losers and cowards.
A couple notes from Caleb's presser there. I love that he took the blame for the sack. I'm not sure I totally agree with it, but he did. And he said he stayed in the pocket too long. He was trying to force it too much, and I love that.
Right, and if there's one thing that you're going to look at, and like I said, we'll wait till all the good film breakdown guys, QB school and everybody else in between, look at the tape. But, Caleb was extending almost every play, right? The ball wasn't coming out right away. As he'd do his 3-step or his 7-step drop, he's looking and looking. He's got such great poise in the pocket, but it's going to get more chaotic when you get to the season. You start playing backups as you get into the second half or the second quarter. So, ideally, you want to start getting that ball out quicker. You're not going to always be able to get out of the pocket and make plays like you did today. So, if I'm going to try to be nuanced, I would say that's the next step is we got to get the ball out.
So he's a bust.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I don't know. I'm surprised you went down that road. Also, I'm going to give Caleb permission. It's okay to get on Simone Biles for wearing a Packer jacket on the sideline, but I am going to give Caleb permission. He is allowed to talk about Aaron Rodgers if he's going to talk about him the way he did there. We know he looks up to Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's great. Aaron Rodgers is really good at football, and so if he can not only try to emulate Aaron Rodgers, but actually emulate Aaron Rodgers, I'm all for it.
I am all for it as well. And somebody did a cut-up video where I was just showing him it during the Eberflus presser where they did a side-by-side, and it's identical. It's an Aaron Rodgers video and then the Caleb Williams throw to Rome Odunze, and they are identical. And then they ask Caleb Williams about it, and his quote of, watching Aaron Rodgers and the unbelievable things he did, moving left to right, not like I just can't believe it.
All right, let's close things up with super chats. Had some really good high roller super chats there in the middle of the show. I know we got more, so let's get to those as well. Q Harlan with $5 saying, "Love what I'm seeing. Only critique, would like to see them get off to faster starts."
Yep, and I mean, hey, the one thing we haven't talked about this entire show is DeAndre Swift wasn't there, who is going to be a huge focal point to this offense. So, I think that somebody like DeAndre Swift is somebody you'll lean on early on to get your feet wet and get settled into a game, and then let the rest take place.
Joe Calcagno, $4.99. I do have a problem with him taking Allen and Moore out so early. If you have Williams out, let him build chemistry with those two. I would just say they're building plenty of chemistry, and I kind of like the challenge. We talked about this pregame. With them going up against backups, if the Bengals had their starters, I'd feel more about what you're saying. But with them going up against backups, I like the idea of letting other players, other wide receivers that Caleb's going to have to throw to at points this season, get that chemistry, and allowing Rome to be the true number one on the field at the same time.
Right. Right, because I mean, if all the balls are going to DJ Moore and Rome Odunze or Keenan Allen, then how does Rome Odunze get that chemistry with his reps once you get to the regular season? This was a great opportunity for Rome to be the wide receiver 1 today.
And Jeremiah Birth, $5. I messed up my first super chat because I was working while trying to send it out, but you guys do a great job every time. Keep up the good work. #bear down.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Means a lot.
Keep them coming there, Jeremiah. Mark Gauthier, the GOAT from across the pond, $9.99. Park District did the Bears no favors by not filling in the end lines and causing Rome to think he was inbounds. Upside is we got to see 18 perform magic twice on that red zone.
Exactly.
That's a good point. He scored 2 touchdowns.
And that's what I said when it happened. And Hoge wouldn't give Caleb the excuse. For the record, Rome the excuse. For the record.
Rome, not Caleb.
Everything I'm going to say is Caleb.
Well, you called him Justin before the show.
I know. Like I said.
Before the game, I mean. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a complete idiot. I mean, Frank in the chat said, we love Greg, but sometimes he sure says some stupid shit. Yeah. Breaking news. I know, Frank.
Jeff, $20. Everything about this team is different, from Flus keeping Caleb in the number 1 O-line in the game to Caleb waiting until the last moment to run. This team is special, and I can't wait to fly in from Maryland for week 1. Bear down.
Let's go, Jeff.
Jeff, come to the tailgate, and Greg will hug you.
Yeah. If you're coming early to week 1, if you're flying in, the Cubs play the Yankees that Friday.
Ooh.
And we're doing a Friday 120 club at Wrigley Field. So if you want to make a whole CHGO weekend of it, you come in early to Chicago, go to Wrigley Field Friday during the day, Friday 120 club, watch the Cubs take on the Yankees. And then that night, Friday night, the Packers play the Eagles. So you got the Brazil game Friday night. Little college football action on Saturday. We'll all, go to Carm's house. And then on Sunday, you got the tailgate and the game.
Instead of watching the Packers, I highly recommend you come out to Baker Stadium in Mundelein and watch Carmel play Lake Forest. Much, much better game.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to make a real football weekend out of it,
real football
in the area, yeah,
better than the Packers.
Go to the Cubs game. Take the train north. Come see Carmel Lake Forest. Don't watch the Packers. It's fine. Isaac Siegel, $10. This team has championship-level depth. Credit to Poles, Ian, and Flus. This is a playoff team. Unquestionable. Quackinator, 100.
The Quackinator.
$9.99.
Quack. 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 Quack.
Quack. I like that. That's good. That's a great movie. Lots to like, but am I wrong to be concerned with how much Caleb struggled when we saw Bagent come out and tear up the same defenders? Is that the rookie jitters? Bagent looked way better with backups.
I'm so confused by this Quackinator. You have quackinated my mind. You are wrong to be concerned with how much Caleb struggled when we saw Bagent come. Like, I don't know.
He's basically saying Bagent didn't have any problems. Caleb did. I'm not sure I agree that Caleb had problems.
I mean, obviously those first 3 series, we didn't get 3 touchdowns. But
you're right. They should probably return them.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
It's certainly not perfect. Like I said, I guarantee when they go to the All-22, you're going to see a couple times where he was rushing, the play and going to a predetermined location where there was other guys that were open that could have potentially been the better option. Not getting the ball out quickly, overthrow on the first throw, taking a sack, so,
right. You need to stop talking. How many super chats do we have?
We have 12 more.
Okay.
I will stop talking.
J-Fly.
Maybe.
No, you're not. $9.99. CHGO diehards. Let's go Bears. Dominant performance. Vortex, 1988. $10. O-line can't protect. Wide receivers and quarterback aren't on the same page. Can't complete passes in the red zone, and only a couple weeks away from real football. Only 2 to 3 plays mattered in a half against backups. I will allow you to respond to that one if you want.
I have no comment.
That is an amazingly. I appreciate the $10, but I don't know how. I don't mean to cite a preseason score. They won 27-3.
Yeah, again, there were struggles, but that's the beauty of the way they finished, the way Flus kept them in there. Again, all the hype. It's always so funny to me when people hear the hype. They just think, oh, then you have rose-colored glasses to everything. You think they're ready to win the Super Bowl tomorrow. Nobody is suggesting any of that. There is still a learning curve and a developmental curve that's going to take place with this team. We all acknowledge that. But at the same time, just look at what you're seeing in terms of the feel of the game, the things you can't teach. There's so much to like about what's going on right now. And if you're trying that hard to have a critical eye, God bless you, man. But, you can also have a little fun too. And I'll do that for you then, Vortex.
Romo John, $5. Isn't it official that the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl? The main offense looked amazing. C. Vaughn 40, $10. Braggs needs his own in-house Taco Bell like that Devontae Adams commercial.
Yes.
Can I request this chat to be put directly into the Taco Bell fund?
Yes.
Also, tackling was spectacular today. It really was. Really good tackling.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think my goal should be by the end of the year that Taco Bell is a sponsor to CHGO Sports.
Yeah,
I mean,
why don't you do something?
I am really trying hard. And at this point, there's no way they're not going to notice all the efforts I've given them here lately. And then all the money I'm going to give them later tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say.
$70.
Vortex 1988 again with this one's great. $5. I need to see Caleb complete a pass in the red zone before I can be optimistic. There have been none in his first 2 games.
All right, but DJ Moore last week did drop one. Yeah. That was a red zone, so that was a good throw. And then Rome Odunze didn't have his feet in bounds on another red zone throw today. So, again, the signs are there.
You could make a case that there could have been another one to Rome last week as well if he ran a little bit of a different route there.
Sure.
Well, right, but that pass to Rome today was unbelievable, and it was not on Caleb at all that his foot was out of bounds.
Right.
So to say he didn't complete a pass, it is just
trying hard. Yeah, and I got it. I got it. Fine. Some people don't want to be hurt again.
Yeah. Well, look. You know what the good news about that is? In the past, we've all been guilty of squinting to try to see what we want to see from the quarterbacks. Now it seems like some people are squinting to see the bad.
Right.
So we can keep that rolling. Bob O'Brien, $5. If they keep ripping, what happens to Austin Reed? I know undrafted, but still, I really like his tape.
I like Austin too.
Yeah, I don't think they keep 4 quarterbacks, but he maybe ends up on someone else's practice squad, or maybe they do keep 4. They have a lot of practice squads spots now these days. Chris Evans, $4.99. Sorry, guys, late to the party here, but just have to say you have to be concerned about the first 3 Caleb drives. Highlight plays against backups aside.
Yeah, like I said, this is just, life is about balance. And so there's fans out there that are just trying to have an emotional hedge, make sure they're staying guarded because we've all been let down before. We've all heard this ridiculous hype about other players that didn't work out, and that's fair. If that's what you want to do because you don't believe it. I was talking to this older couple last week, and they're like, how do they look? And I was like, quarterback looks real good. And this little old lady, she goes, well, we've said that before. And
then don't ask the question.
Right.
Like, seriously.
Right. I couldn't argue with her, though.
Yeah, but then don't
ticket
ask.
holder, she asked me. It's, we're beaten down here in this city.
Okay.
But, one day.
Ryan, $4.99. They've been playing Herbert a lot in the preseason. Do you think they're trying to raise his trade stock? And also, do you think that they would trade him?
We're trading Vortex.
I honestly don't know, Ryan. Maybe. I wouldn't rule it out. Carlos Gonzalez, $4.99. Mahomes saw Caleb practicing the behind-the-back pass on Hard Knocks and said, I better do that before Caleb beats me to it during a game. I like that mentality, Carlos. That's right. Caleb is inspiring Patrick Mahomes. That's what's happening here. Windy City Sports Cards.
Let's go.
$50 super chat. We love what we are seeing from this Bears team, and the future is bright. The Bears are back, baby. Let's go. Time for us to do some meatballing, Brags. We have been starved for this kind of football in Chicago for long enough.
I am starving currently. These guys had lunch, and I am looking forward to a chicken quesadilla coming to a mouth near me.
Is that going to be how you advertise for Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Chicken quesadilla coming to a mouth near me. Back in point, $9.99. Brad, love you, but very unique, or any qualifier on unique drives me nuts. Unique means one of a kind. You can't be very one of a kind, whether you are or aren't.
I just passed out trying to figure out what you just said there.
That
was a
maybe the most confusing super chat we've ever gotten.
That was a very unique super chat.
Who's Brad?
There's a joke because there was a guy last year that would tweet at me, and every time he'd call me Brad. And I was like, I didn't know if he was messing with me or if he was making this. And I was like, stop calling me Brad. And then everybody started calling me Brad for like a month. And then some people still call me Brad to this day.
I'm going to call you Brad. Mark, $2. Shout out, Mark. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And then Smackums, $4.99, closing us out. Regular season can't get here fast enough. Defense will dominate, and the offense is going to light it up. Bear down. Appreciate all the supers. Appreciate all the likes. We went way over 1,000, almost to 1,500. Maybe we can get to 1,500 by the time we say goodbye here. Hit that like button. Jack that thing up. We greatly appreciate it. Hit subscribe if you're here for the first time. What I like to tell you guys to do, too, if you don't mind, it would mean a lot to us. If you can take the link to this show on YouTube and just text it to a Bears fan that you know, tell them that the best Bears coverage you can get right here, not only post-game after every game, but also each and every day. We've been after every practice. We're going to keep that going until training camp is officially over, and we'll be right back at it on Monday at 2 o'clock. So make sure you're tuned in for that.
Yep. And with my final thought for the day, Jay Rigdon, I think, put this perfectly for those of us that have been in the grind as Bears fans for a few decades now. He said, I once spent a chunk of an NFL season sad that Craig Krenzel was hurt because it meant I had to watch Jonathan Quinn play instead. Legitimately do not know how to handle this. And that honestly that encompasses how I feel. We have been through so much here in Chicago. And I know there's a lot of people that want to, continue to wait and see, but it just feels right, and we deserve it to happen to us one time in our lives. And it just feels like we finally hit on the position that has been just curse-ridden here in Chicago. And I can't wait to watch Caleb Williams play quarterback for this team next week and for weeks and years and decades to come for the rest of my life.
I will be right back here. Steven will be right back here tomorrow as we tape the 85 with Cole Kmet, and that's going to drop Monday morning. So we got a lot of great content coming your way, and can't wait to hear what he has to say about this game. We'll break it all down. Special guest on that show as well. And so make sure, remember, that's a separate feed. So go find the 85 with Cole Kmet. Hit subscribe. That thing blew up.
Yep.
Coming for you, Kelsey Brothers.
Let's go.
On the podcast charts already. So check that out. Also, be right back here Monday at 2 o'clock. Greg, great job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you.
Happy for all of us.
You can
We've been
this.
through this.
Bad news for Pizzatola, but Carm will return this week. I actually forget if it's Tuesday or Wednesday but at some point, Mark Carman. Whoa, we never showed that. Can we still show that? Can we close out the show with that?
We did show it.
I'm sorry. We'll show it again to close the show.
Blacked out now.
There he is. Yeah, me. Carm at the game today, next to a bear, and he probably is like that in real life. Wherever he is right now and whatever drugs he's on is probably thinking that he is in a yellow coat.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Curious George and a bear.
It's like that little kid from It.
Yeah. We miss Carm. We actually do. And he'll be back this week. So lots to stay tuned and be excited about, including your quarterback talk to you on Monday.